Every man thinks he's in control of love, until one single move from a woman flips his entire world upside down. And if you know this move, he doesn't just like you, he falls for you in a way that feels undeniable. Think about it. Most people chase, overgive, or try to impress. But men don't fall for effort. They fall for the feeling of being seen. When a man feels like you believe in him, when you show him trust in just the right way, suddenly he can't get enough of you. It's not about being perfect. It's not about playing games. It's about giving him the rare feeling that he matters. And once you do that, the chase begins, but this time, he's chasing you. If this resonates with you so far, don't just listen, because once you learn how to create this feeling, you'll never wonder again if he's truly falling for you. And if you're ready for even deeper insights like this, make sure you stay till the end, because I'm going to show you exactly how to put this into action starting today. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. You can buy every bit of makeup in the world, wear the most stylish clothes, and know every single trick out there, but there's one move that will make a man fall for you in a way he won't even be able to explain to himself. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been around relationships for a long time. I've heard all kinds of stories, seen the games people play, and watched folks bend over backward just to get the attention of someone they like. And let me tell you, we often make this thing called love way more complicated than it needs to be. Now, I know a lot of people think men are mysterious, hard to figure out, like some big puzzle you can't solve. But truth is, we're not that mysterious. We're actually pretty simple. The real problem is, so many people waste their time trying the wrong things to get our attention. I know what you've been told. Dress a certain way, use certain words, play hard to get, act like you don't care, all that nonsense. But I'm here tonight to give you the real truth, straight and clear. Because once you actually understand how men think, you stop wasting your time on all the extra stuff, and you start focusing on what really matters. Here's the deal with us men. When we walk into a room, sure, we look around and notice things, the hair, the smile, the outfit, all the surface stuff. That's normal. But that's just the outside. You can look great, smell amazing, and talk smooth, but if you don't reach our heart, none of that lasts. You might catch our attention for a moment, but you won't keep it. And holding a man's attention, that's the real key. That's where this one move comes in. It's not a magic trick. It's not some game. It's something deeper, something that goes right past the surface and lands straight in a man's heart. Because even if he can't explain it, he knows how it feels when it happens. See, most men walk around with an invisible shield on. We live in a world that tells us to stay strong, never show weakness, carry the weight without complaining. And we do it because that's how we're raised. But it also means there aren't many spaces where we can just breathe and be ourselves. When you become that safe space, when you make a man feel like he doesn't have to perform, doesn't have to prove himself all the time, that's powerful. And you can't fake it. You can't just say, I value you, and not really mean it. We can feel it. Men have a radar for real versus fake. And trust me, if you're just acting, we'll know. But when it's genuine, when you actually see us for who we are, when you notice the little things we do, when you appreciate the effort even if it's not perfect, that's when you win us over. Let me put it simply. Imagine a man who's been working all day, dealing with stress, trying to pay bills, trying to handle life's demands. He comes home, and instead of hearing what he didn't do, he hears, I'm proud of you. Or instead of getting a list of problems, he sees a smile and hears, thank you for what you do. That right there, that's the move. You cut straight through his armor and touched his heart. It's not about agreeing with every word he says, and it's not about never challenging him. It's about making him feel like he's more than just his paycheck, more than his job, more than what he provides. It's about showing him he is valued as a man, not only as a provider. And here's the beautiful part. When a man feels that from you, when he knows you're there for who he is and not just for what he gives, he'll give you his whole self. He'll open up, he'll show up fully, he'll protect you, And he'll love you in a way no book, no trick, no article about how to get a man could ever teach. Because once you touch a man's heart, his mind follows and his actions will prove it every single day. Have you noticed how everybody out here is trying so hard to impress someone? People are buying clothes they can't really afford, driving cars they can't keep up with, posting photos online pretending their life is perfect, all for a bit of attention. But none of that matters if you can't connect with someone on a real human level. The fancy stuff might grab attention for a second, but connection, that's what makes a man stay. And let me tell you something about men. Yes, we love beauty, we notice style, and we see confidence. But what really sticks with us isn't just what we see with our eyes, it's what we feel when we're around you. What we remember is the feeling you leave us with. That's why I always say, you can't win someone's heart by only showing them the best parts of your life. You have to be real. You have to be genuine. And for a man, that kind of honesty is like fresh air. I remember a friend once told me about a woman he had just met. She wasn't the flashiest in the room. She didn't wear the most expensive clothes. She wasn't pretending to be something she wasn't. But he said something that stayed with me. Man, she made me feel like I didn't have to try so hard. And that's rare. Because most of us men are walking around with our guard up every single day, performing, competing, proving. Think about it. Men are constantly under pressure to succeed, to provide, to never show weakness. That's the world we live in, and because of that, we don't often get the chance to just relax and be ourselves. But when a man meets someone who makes him feel like he can put down the mask, when he feels like he doesn't need to prove himself every second, that's when you start to see the real him. And if you can see that real version of him and love it, not just the polished version, that's when you have something truly powerful. That's why real life moments, real conversations and relatable stories matter when you're connecting with someone. They remind us you're human too, that you're not perfect, and that you're willing to meet us where we are. Because let's be honest, perfection isn't relatable. Nobody connects with perfect. What we connect to is honesty, vulnerability, those moments when someone says, I see you, I understand you, and I'm not here to judge you. A man will fall for that kind of energy long before he falls for a picture-perfect post online. Because deep down we're all searching for someone who feels like home, not just someone who looks good walking beside us. Home isn't about how things look. It's about comfort, trust, and knowing you're safe. And for a man, finding that is priceless. When you share a laugh, when you tell a story that makes him think, wow, I can actually be myself with this person, you're doing more than just making him smile. You're breaking down walls. And once those walls come down, everything else in love becomes so much easier. The conversations begin to flow easier, the trust grows stronger, and that's when real love has space to grow. Here's the truth. When you connect with a man on a deeper level, you're not just reaching his thoughts, you're touching his emotions. And that's the very thing that makes him think about you when you're not there. That's what makes him want to call you, want to spend more time with you, and want to keep investing in the relationship. Because it's not about what you can get from him. It's about how he feels when he's around you. And let me be real with you right now. The world is full of people who look good but don't know how to connect. That's why so many relationships die out quickly. But when you have that true connection, when he feels like he doesn't have to be perfect for you to value him, you stop being just another person in his life. You become the one he can't imagine life without. So many people think love is some complicated puzzle. They think it takes all these steps, rules, and strategies to get someone's attention. But the truth is, sometimes it's one small thing that makes all the difference. And with men, there's one simple move that changes everything. The problem is, most people go after the wrong thing. They focus on the surface instead of the heart. They try to impress with looks, money, or status, thinking that's what will make someone stay. Sure, that might make a man notice you for a while, but if you want him to truly stay, You've got to reach a deeper place. Men may not admit it, but we're not as tough as we act. We walk around pretending we've got it all handled, but inside we've got doubts, fears, and things we carry every single day. And the move I'm talking about works so well because it cuts through all those walls and speaks to a part of us we rarely talk about. Think about it. Every man you meet has grown up hearing that he has to be strong, that he has to handle business, and that he can't show weakness. That means most of us have learned to hide parts of who we are. We don't always share our feelings. We don't always let people see the real us. And in many relationships, men are still playing that role, even with the person closest to them. But the one move that changes everything is when you show a man he doesn't have to perform for you. When he feels like he can show you the good, the bad, and everything in between, and you still see him as valuable, that's not only powerful, it's rare. I've seen it happen. I've seen men who swore they'd never settle down, who said they weren't the relationship type, completely change their mindset because they met someone who made them feel safe. And it wasn't because she was the most beautiful in the room. It wasn't because she had the perfect figure or the biggest circle of friends. It was because around her, they felt like they didn't have to prove themselves every second. And when a man feels that way, something flips in his mind. Suddenly, he's not just thinking about you in the moment, he's picturing his future with you. Because the truth is, a man may feel attraction to many people in his life, but he only gives his heart to the one who makes him feel truly understood. And here's the surprising part. This move isn't loud. It's not flashy. It doesn't require grand gestures. It's in the small things. It's in listening to him without instantly judging. It's in noticing when he goes quiet and giving him space instead of pushing. It's in appreciating his effort, even if it isn't perfect. It's in telling him, "I'm proud of you," when you can see the world has been trying to drag him down. When you do that, you're not just creating a connection, you're building trust. And once a man trusts you with the parts of himself he hides from everyone else, the bond between you becomes something unbreakable. That's when you stop being someone he just likes and you start being someone he needs. Anybody can make a man laugh. Anybody can make him feel good for a short while, but not everyone can make him feel safe enough to be completely real. That's why this one move is so powerful. It's not about doing more, it's about doing the right thing. It's about focusing less on how you look in his eyes and more on how you make him feel about himself. And I promise you this, when you get that right, you'll have something far deeper than attraction, stronger than infatuation. You'll have his loyalty, his respect, and his heart. And once you hold that, you've got the kind of love that lasts. Too many people waste time stressing over looking perfect, saying all the right lines, and following every little dating trick they've ever heard of. But none of that will keep a man if you don't have a real emotional bond with him. You could be the most stunning person in the room, but if there's nothing real underneath, that beauty fades fast in his eyes. Men aren't as complicated as people think, but we are more sensitive to authenticity than most realize. You might believe you need to put on a show, act like someone else, or maintain this flawless image to keep his interest. But the truth is, if you can't relax and be yourself around him, he will feel that. And if you can't make him feel like he can relax and be himself with you, then you'll never see the best side of him either. Authenticity is magnetic, and the reason is simple, it's rare. In a world full of filters, fake smiles, and practiced lines, someone who is simply real stands out like a bright light in the dark. And when a man meets a woman who is genuine, who isn't trying to be perfect every single moment, it's refreshing. He doesn't have to question what's real and what's fake. He can feel the difference. Now, I'm not saying don't look good or don't take care of yourself. Of course, presentation matters, but once that first attraction is there, what keeps it alive is how you connect with him emotionally. You can impress a man's eyes all day, but if you don't reach his heart, someone else eventually will. And reaching his heart isn't about being flawless, it's about being open, vulnerable, and real enough for him to feel safe sharing the parts of himself that aren't flawless either. I've seen men walk away from situations that seemed perfect on the outside because deep down, they couldn't be themselves. They felt like they had to keep performing, keep proving, keep living up to an image. And after a while, that becomes exhausting. But when a man is with someone who lets him breathe, who accepts him without always judging or comparing, that's when he begins to open up in ways he never has before. And here's something important to know. Men protect that kind of connection with everything they have. Because for us, it's rare. Most of the time we're on guard, but when we find that safe place, we treasure it. We don't open up easily, because life has already shown us that not everyone deserves the deepest parts of who we are. Some people only take advantage, so we build walls. But when someone shows through actions that they can be trusted, that they truly care about us as people, and not just about what we can give, loyalty starts to happen naturally. The kind of emotional bond I'm talking about doesn't happen in one long talk. It grows in small, simple moments. It's in those times when you laugh together over something silly. It's in the way you ask how his day went and you actually care about his answer. It's in remembering the little details he shared weeks ago and bringing them up later. It's in showing him that you notice him, not just the guy who earns money or looks good in photos, but the person underneath all of that. And the most beautiful part is, when you choose to be real, you give him the courage to do the same. Suddenly, it's not just two people pretending to be their best selves. It's two people showing up as who they truly are. That kind of connection is strong enough to survive nearly anything. Chasing perfection may catch attention for a short time, but being real is what builds trust. And trust is what holds everything else together. Respect, love, commitment. Without it, the relationship is fragile. But with it, you don't just win his interest, you win his heart. That's the difference between being someone he likes for now and being someone he treasures forever. A man can get compliments on his looks, his career, his car, even his sense of style. But there's one thing most men rarely hear: real appreciation. Not the kind that's about what he can buy or what he can do, but appreciation for who he is inside. And let me tell you, that's what makes a man truly fall. From the time boys are young, they're told that their worth comes from what they produce. Work harder, prove yourself, bring something to the table. Ambition isn't bad, but the problem is men grow up rarely being valued for anything beyond what they can provide. So when someone finally sees and values him for the person he is, it touches a place inside him that's hard to ignore. Real appreciation isn't fake flattery, and it's not about acting like he's perfect. Men can see through that quickly. It's about paying attention to the effort he puts in and letting him know it matters. If you see him trying, acknowledge it. If he takes care of something without being asked, let him know you notice. Even when his effort isn't flawless, show him that you appreciate his intention. That sticks with him. You have to understand, men don't often hear words like "I'm proud of you." Most of the time, the world pushes us to earn more, achieve more, do more. So when he's with someone who says, "You're enough, just as you are right now," it feels like a huge weight comes off his shoulders. That's why appreciation is powerful. It's not about making his ego bigger. It's about reminding him that he's more than what the world demands from him. I've seen men completely change once they feel that kind of recognition. A guy who once kept his distance starts opening up. A man who used to hold back starts giving more. It's not some trick, it's simple. When a man feels safe and truly valued, he naturally wants to give more to the relationship. That's just how men are wired. We give more to the place where we feel appreciated. Appreciation isn't one big act. It shows up in small daily ways. It's in saying thank you even for little things he helps with. It's in greeting him warmly when he walks in the door tired from work. It's in remembering what he said before and bringing it up again to show you cared enough to listen. Those small things may feel simple to you, but to him, they mean he's seen. They're proof that you notice him and value him, not just for what he does, but for who he is. And remember, it has to be two-sided. If you want him to keep giving, he has to feel like what he gives actually matters. If he feels like nothing he does will ever be enough over time, he'll stop trying. But if he feels like his effort really counts, you'll be surprised at how much more he wants to give. And don't just show appreciation when everything is going well. Anyone can do that. Show it when he's tired, when he's trying, even if things aren't perfect, when he's struggling but still shows up. That's when your words will mean the most, because they're real and they're needed. That's the kind of appreciation that cuts deeper. You're telling him, I notice you. I see the real you, not just the polished version the world sees. And when a man feels seen like that, it's not just attraction anymore. It becomes connection. It becomes attachment. It turns into the kind of bond that makes him want to stay close for the long haul. When you make a man feel valued, something changes inside him. It's no longer about simply liking you. It becomes about needing you in his life. Not in a needy way, but in the sense that he knows he can't replace what you bring. You become the person he wants to protect, support, and show up for every day. Because you've touched a side of him most people never reach. Men don't give their trust easily. We can be kind, we can be fun, we can even date for months while still keeping some doors locked. But when someone proves they're genuine, consistent, and not just around for the good times, that's when the doors start to open. And once they open, you get access to the side of him no one else gets to see. That's the beauty of making a man feel valued. You don't just get his love, you earn his loyalty. And a man's loyalty, once his emotions are involved, is one of the strongest things you can have. He won't be distracted by every little temptation. He won't waste your time with games. He'll start considering your happiness alongside his own. It also changes how he loves you. A man who feels truly valued doesn't love half-heartedly. He doesn't just say the words because they sound nice. He proves them. He becomes more caring, more protective, more generous, not because you pushed him, but because he wants to. When he feels like his effort means something, he naturally wants to give you more. And here's something most people forget. When you value a man, you don't just make him love you more, you also inspire him to grow into a better version of himself. Not in a way that feels pressured or forced, but in a way that naturally comes from within. He begins to want to improve, to grow, and to show up stronger because he knows someone truly believes in him. And when a man feels that belief from you, it fuels his own self-belief even more. That's why making him feel valued is so different from trying little tricks or short-term tactics. Games lose their power, tricks eventually stop working, but genuine connection, that lasts. And that connection is what creates a relationship where both people give, both people grow, and both feel secure. Because the value I'm talking about isn't about perfection. It's not about only appreciating him when he's winning or when life feels easy. Real value shows up when things are messy, when challenges appear, when he's not at his best. That's when it means the most. It's easy to love someone when everything is smooth. The real test of love is showing appreciation, respect, and care when life is heavy. Men remember that. We never forget the people who stood by us when we were still finding our way. We never forget who treated us as worthy before we had it all figured out. And when you're that person for him, you'll never have to doubt where you stand. You'll be the one he thinks about when he makes plans for his future. You'll be the one he shares his dreams with. You'll be the one he's willing to fight to keep by his side. That's the power of making a man feel valued. You no longer have to chase attention or worry about competing for it. Instead, you build something deeper. You stop focusing on doing more and start focusing on doing what truly matters. And when you do, what you create isn't just attraction. It's not just temporary excitement. It's love that lasts. A love built on trust, on loyalty, and on a bond that only grows stronger over time.